How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, this is a shocking story out of Scotland. 4 prisoners dead within days in Scottish jails. 3 at one prison, 1 at another. Something's going on, guys. Not every death in custody is down to natural causes, medical negligence, right? You've just got to look at the murder, and that's what it was, murder of a prisoner by the name of Alan Marshall, right? Check it out, guys. Read the stories online. Alan Marshall, the CCTV footage on my channel. He was murdered by prison officers in a Scottish prison, right? This is a story on the BBC News website, guys. I'm going to read the story. It's not the longest story. I'm going to put my comments at the end, link in the description below like we always do. Let's get into it. So, the story on the BBC News website, guys, link in the description like I've just said. 4 prisoners found dead within days at Scottish jails. Now, that for me, that headline should be on every fucking front page of every paper in Scotland, right? Because it's shocking. But the prisoners aren't. If this was a care home or a hospital or a school, right, or an old people's home, people would be fucking up in arms thinking, hang on, what's going on here? But because the prisoners, nobody gives a shit, and they should. So 4 prisoners found dead within days at Scottish jails. 4 prisoners have been found dead in Scottish jails in just 4 days. 3 of the men died at the country's largest jail, Barlinnie, with the 4th found dead at Lachey in Dumbartonshire. Fatal accident inquiries, or FAIs, will be held into each death. It came as members of Scottish Parliament heard evidence on a report from the public spending watchdog, which said Scotland's prison service was on the brink of a safety crisis. The 3 Barlinnie prisoners found dead were Paul Hamilton, 43. God bless Paul Hamilton. May you rest in peace. My thoughts and prayers are fully with your friends and family at this sad and tragic time. Who died on October the 24th. A man whose family have yet to be informed was found dead 3 days later. And Michael Charlton, aged 34, who died on October the 28th. My thoughts and prayers obviously go out to Michael Charlton's friends and family at this sad and tragic time. A 4th prisoner, Neil Hand, aged just 30, died at Lachey prison on October the 27th. My thoughts and prayers go out to Neil Hand's friends and family at this sad and tragic time. God bless you all. BBC Scotland understands at least 2 of the men died from natural causes, but FAIs, or fatal accident inquiries, are mandatory for any death in custody. Hamilton was convicted at Glasgow High Court in July of 2018 of attempting to pervert the course of justice and jailed for 3 years. It is understood he was to be released soon. 3 other men were remanded in custody and were awaiting trial, so they wasn't even guilty of an offence, guys. On Thursday, Holroyd's Public Audit Committee took evidence on the Audit Scotland report, which said Scottish Prison Service, or SPS, faced profound challenges in continuing to operate safely and effectively. The Auditor General said the service's revenue budget reduced by 12.5% in real terms between 2014 and 2015 and 2018 and 2019, from £394.7 million to £345.2 million, whilst its costs were rising. Prisoners' numbers increased by nearly 9% in 2018 to 2019 to 8,212 and were set to rise further, whilst at the same time there have been significant increases in assaults by prisoners against staff and other prisoners and in stress-related sickness amongst staff. Members of Scottish Parliament were urged to visit shocking Barlinnie. Caroline Gardner, the Auditor General for Scotland, said, Scotland's prisons are running well over operating capacity. The Scottish Prison Service faces a combination of severe pressures on many fronts. This poses a threat to the operational safety, effectiveness and financial sustainability. Easy for me to say. The committee heard 10 of the country's 15 jails were operating well over capacity, with Barlinnie 40% overcrowded. Staff sickness levels at Perth prison had risen to 50%. Members of Scottish Parliament were told. Addressing the MSPs, or the Members of Scottish Parliament, the Chief Inspector of Prisons for Scotland, Wendy Sinclair Gieben, said, "The increase in prison population meant it was becoming more difficult for staff to offer meaningful activities to inmates, leading them to spending more time in their cells." And she drew the attention to the crumbling nature of Scotland's older jails. "Barlinnie is shocking," she told the committee. "I urge you to go and have a look at it. Walk along the corridors where plaster dust rains on your head. So walk around in the evening and think, oh my goodness, we actually see Scotland as leading edge in penology, and we're happy to ask staff and prisoners to live and work here. I feel quite strongly, even though I recognise we are in a period of fiscal prudence. Glasgow City Council is to consider plans by the end of 2019 for a new 1,200 capacity prison to replace Barlinnie, but the Scottish Prison Service said it was unlikely it will be completed before 2025. A Scottish Prison Service spokesman said, "Prison numbers were increasing because of a number of factors, including jail sentences getting longer and long sentences being handed out, reflecting the growth in historical sex cases." Right, just fucking hellfire. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 4 prisoners leaving jail dead within days of each other, guys. Now, like I say, when they say natural causes, guys, I know people might think, oh, well, it's the paper, it's the prison, it's got to be just natural causes. What a prison say, guys, and what the truth are is 2 very different versions of events. Cover up after cover up. Not every death in custody, guys, right, is natural causes, not overdoses, not down to medical negligence, right, or medical episodes. Prisoners are getting killed off. Simple, right? One way to reduce prison population and reduce reoffending, isn't it? When you can't reoffend because these prisoners are dying. I'm sick to fucking death of prisoners in England, because obviously justice has been devolved to Scotland, right? They look after their own courts and their own prisons, right? That's how it is. Justice has been devolved to Scotland. So how it's categorised, they say prisons in England and Wales, right? There's too many prisoners leaving body bags in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Republic of Ireland, and across the world in general, guys. But obviously we focus on the UK. 4 men laid dead. Right? Oh, it's natural causes, natural causes. They're very quick to throw out that. Now, like I say, post-mortems and everything take place, guys, right? But like I say, don't ever think for 1 minute that that's just because that's what they say, that's what it is. Take everything that the prisons say with a pinch of salt. Obviously, these FAIs, right, these fatal accident inquiries, it's the Scottish alternative of the prison probation ombudsman that we have here in England and Wales. They're not independent at all, right? They're useless, guys, and it takes 2 to 3 years for these inquests to take place. And then at the end of it, there's no accountability, guys, right? If it was a care home and it was an old people and it was dying, dropping dead like flies, like prisoners are, for many different factors, right, that home would be investigated. It would be closed down. The Care Quality Commission would be on its case. But because these people are prisoners, guys, right, nobody gives a shit. And before these people might be prisoners. 3 of the men were on remand. Wasn't even guilty of an offence. Wasn't innocent, wasn't guilty. Holding charge. If those 3 prisoners weren't in prison, chances are they would still be alive today. Goes on. Another man was due to be released from prison very, very soon. What's going on in prison? You've got to think, when you've got 4 deaths in custody in prisons in Scotland, like I said, the prison capacity there, what they said there, was 8,212, right? Now, 4 deaths is a lot by anyone's standards. I mean, here in England and Wales, our prison population fluctuates between about 82 to about 86,000, right? And people are dropping dead like flies in England and Wales. But Scotland, 4 deaths, right? When your prison population is just a mere over 8,200. Any death in prison, unless it's that of a sex offender, a rapist, or a child murderer, right? I'm devastated about. Genuinely am. I don't give a shit about paedophiles, rapists, and child murderers, guys, and like I say, wrong uns, beasts, as they call them in Scotland. But these guys were for all intents and purposes, general population prisoners. 4 families gutted. The shockwaves, guys, you've got to think, right? Just put this in perspective. Just put yourselves in the family's position of these 4 prisoners that have left prison in body bags. Right? Some people no mother should ever have to bury her son. Right? And it's just shocking, guys. And the shockwaves it sends through a family can tip people over the edge. It really, really can. And I've seen too much myself by covering deaths in custody and families reaching out to me and everything. The damage that gets done, people grieving, just like when you read the story, you're like, oh yeah, fucking hell, that's bad, right? When you speak to these people, I've spoken to a mother of a prisoner from Liverpool, God bless his soul, Tony Payne. I spoke to his mother less than 2 days after her son had taken his own life in H&P Liverpool. And just, what do you say to somebody, guys, when they're broken? When they're inconsolable, rightly so. The son's never going to come back, right? And they've died in a shitty little cell, in a run-down, decrepit cell, away from the friends, the family, the children. And it's done in the name of rehabilitation, right? And the amount of families, the sheer amount of families I've spoken to families of prisoners that have died due to medical negligence. I'm due to speak to a family whose loved one was murdered in a prison in Scotland. We've covered a lot of things on this channel, guys. Murder, the sad and tragic murder of Stephen O'Donnell at Risley Prison earlier this year. God bless his soul. May he rest in peace. Families from up and down the country. One loved one I spoke to, her ex-partner, father of her 2 twin girls, mentally ill, set himself on fire and died. God bless him. May he rest in peace. Christian Hinckley. Spoken to Paula Newman, the mother of Carl Newman, a man that was in prison for driving offences. He missed 1 probation appointment, just 1, was recalled to prison. Was recalled on the Tuesday. She was due to go and see him on the Friday. He was dead. God bless his soul. Families that like natural cause, where there's been suspicious circumstances, and then the cause of death has been established as pneumonia. I don't buy it myself personally. 27-year-old fit man, Michael McDonough, God bless his soul. I've actually been to a prison protest and stood by his family, and have got the media involved and everything like that, because like my heart goes out to these people. People go to prison to be rehabilitated. Rehabilitation is a politician's word. It's a bullshit word. It's a made-up word, right? People for me, prison should be about re-engaging disenfranchised people, right? But prison has never worked. It never will work. It never has worked. And in the politicians' eyes, I think they perceive prison, that the punitive measure of prison is punishment, exactly that. And I don't personally buy into that at all. Housing mentally ill prisoners and then obviously the amount of corruption going on and drugs in prison and the mental health and family relationships breaking down and the violence and the paranoia and the irrational thinking and the dark thoughts and sustained amounts of period locked up behind your doors, your mental health starts to go south very, very fast. And what flows from that is violence, death, misery, despair, suicide, self-harm, suicide attempts, violence. When you read these stories, and it said down the line there, prisoner on prison officer attacks have gone up. What doesn't get collated, guys, prison officers assaulting and attacking and murdering, it's happening in Charlton, right? These numbers of prison officers attacking prisoners don't get collated. Now, like I say, there's a Facebook page, right, called Know the Danger, right? Check it out, Know the Danger Facebook page, right? it's ran predominantly, unofficially, by prison officers, right? Not everybody that comments is a prison officer or a former prison officer, but when you see stories like this, go and look at their Facebook page. It's an open page. Go and look at the comments about deaths in custody, about prisoners dying, hanging themselves, overdosing, and being carried out of prison in body bags, where the family don't know which mortuary they've been taken to, what morgue they've been taken to, having to see their son or their daughter, because we've got male and female prisoners, and they've got to go and identify them, and they can't go near the body and touch them. They've got to look at them through a pane of fucking glass, right? And you've got scumbags, former prison officers, serving prison officers, slagging prisoners off, slagging prisoners' families off, and it'll openly say, works at HMP. And like I say, not all of them are prison officers or former prison officers, but a lot of them are. And the comments are despicable and they're disgusting. And if you worked at a care home and were slagging off like the residents, you'd be suspended and you'd probably be sacked for gross misconduct. Not on this Facebook page. No. People on this Facebook page, prison officers, former prison officers, find it particularly funny when prisoners leave prison in body bags. It guts me, devastates me. And sadly and tragically, the next death is not very far away. And if any of the families see this video and you would like to reach out, and I can put you in contact with other families that have gone through the same bereavement that you've gone through, whether it be suspicious circumstances, medical negligence, suicide, murdered by prison officers, contact me and I'll put you in contact with people. I would also say to these families, don't take what the prisons say at face value. Take it with a pinch of salt. Seek legal advice. These fatal accident inquiries are not worth fuck all. Go to the cell where your loved one died. Ask for the what's on the P-nomis. Ask for the incident book. Ask for if there was on an act book. Right, things like an act book is a mental health book that prisoners are on and stuff, right? Ask for the medication they was prescribed, things like that, right? Stop at nothing. Be very skeptical of everything the prison says, and seek legal advice to see if you can get some sort of legal aid. Because obviously not everyone's got a money tree in the back garden. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. My thoughts and prayers go out to these prisoners' friends and family. Go to the papers, get it out there. Don't stop at nothing. Come together. When it comes to, we're trying to network here. We're trying to give prisoners a voice. And if this doesn't alarm people, then there's something fucking wrong. Going to leave it there, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.